What up? Here another car.
Perfect, bro. That was literally bang on.
That was it, wasn't it?
First go.
All right, what up? We're here with another car. You've seen it before. It's a Carshop F1 car. It all probably looks very similar, but you're about to find out that we've made some pretty drastic changes to it. Stick around. See that, Jimmy?
What's happened?
Have a look. Zoom in. Get the shot. Can you see that? I said, why is my knee itchy? And then I scratched it. I said, why is my knee sharp? There's a piece of copper in my knee. Ow. Ow. Why are you in me? Over here on the hot side, we have what you might think is the exact same turbo that you saw on it last time, and you'd be almost correct.
Almost.
However, we took this Greddy powered by trust, no, performance by trust, Greddy turbo off, removed it from the vehicle and sent it down to High School Industries, and he has managed to shoehorn in a G40 1150 into this thing, so the new G series, with the goal being sort of new performance technology.
So that's pretty much his G series center.
Yeah. So that's a G series core in the Greddy housing.
Yeah, sweet.
We're all learning together.
That's dope.
Yeah. So wanted to keep it looking old school and nostalgic by keeping that Greddy front housing, but we wanted the performance of a modern day turbo. So like the new G series turbos just spool night and day in comparison to old school stuff. So he managed to get I say managed to get, but basically it's more so he had to put, because the turbo that was on it was quite large. It was actually, it looks quite, it doesn't look huge, but the actual internals of the turbo were quite large. So we had to go to a G40 1150 to fit it in there.
If it was a different vehicle and stuff, I don't think we would have went that route at all.
No, not at all, but pretty much to keep the housings and to get a bit more performance, we did that. In another realm, we would have just completely taken that off and gone to a smaller, probably a G35 frame, something like that, just to make this thing like a light switch. But this is the best of both worlds, where we get to keep it looking sick and we're still going to gain a lot of drivability out of it. So we've got the G40 1150 in there. We've also gone ahead and we've thrown in a 4-port Mac valve. That one's by TurboSmart. They're all the same thing, whatever. They're just a 4-port Mac valve. So we've thrown that in so we have some accurate boost control. It did have a HKS boost controller on it, but the controller itself was a little bit how you going. It wasn't actually doing sort of exactly what it was supposed to do, so we didn't have any actual boost control, so we couldn't keep the gate closed to build boost, basically. So now that we've got accurate boost control, we've got a new G series turbo in there, and on the inside we've got that wired up to the Haltech Elite 2500, which was already in this thing previously. So a new segment.
Who?
And a new segment.
Oh yeah, Numbers with Daniel.
Numbers with Daniel.
Stay tuned.
What's this? What's Numbers with Daniel?
You heard it here first. SR20. Hello there, Daniel. One moment, please.
A few moments later.
What's your numbers? What are you shooting for? Copy. Daniel, what's your dyno numbers for the Datsun U?
1006.
Yeah, it'd be about right. Juddy, mate, can I pinch you for a second? That was a good one. Yeah, it was nearly bang on it. What's your
875.
What was the previous dyno?
I have no idea. We haven't seen the show.
What was our guesstimates earlier?
I don't know.
Sir Trevor, can I pinch you for a moment? What is your guesstimates on the dyno run on the black Datsun U?
I wouldn't have a clue. Probably 600, 650.
650. He's called 650. So we've got Himmer on board here. Himmer, we'd like to take 2 seconds, mate. Oi, So what's your numbers? What's your dyno numbers on the Datsun?
888.
You heard it here first, 888 Tammer's numbers. We're going to put that down the board, lock them in, Eddie. Trevman reckons it'll go 650. Have you seen that thing do a burnout, by the way? It's like a 650 cylinder.
Nice to power. It's going to be a bit torque.
I don't know, I reckon I could out-talk it. I'll out-yarn this dog. All right, George, I'll leave you with it.
What do you want to talk about, George?
What about that Datsun?
No. The Datsun. We'll talk about the back of the Datsun.
That's a great one.
Yeah. That's it. That's all there is to talk about. Nothing new or notable. Everything's as it was. Thanks for watching the episode. Like, comment and subscribe. It looks worse than it is. Don't panic, all right? Everybody calm down, it's all good.
Don't freak out, easy fix, puzzle code in my head, now it's on the walls, everything is good.
Well, it's probably all good. It's most likely all good. Took this thing to the dyno yesterday to Mick at Edge Performance, purely for the fact of checking up on the condition of the engine and sort of if it was making the power it's meant to be making, all that sort of stuff. Basically just a check over. Whole reason of putting it on the dyno wasn't to make more power, wasn't to tune it, it was just to check it over. So ran it up the first time. The power was a little bit low compared to what we sort of expected it to go. So it still went, it was 694 or something like that, 700 horsepower, but that is low for what we would have expected to see with an 871 blown 388 cubic inch methanol LS. So Mick, being the V8 guru that he is, sort of started diving into it a bit, thinking that it was down on a couple cylinders. With these V8 things, especially big cranky ones, it's hard to tell sometimes if they're firing on all 8. So he had a quick look at that with Connor over there, and they sort of came to the conclusion that it was down on at least one cylinder. They initially pulled a plug out of cylinder 1 because they suspected that it was the cylinder that wasn't firing. Did a compression test on it, it looked pretty good. I think it was like 120 or something like that, and pretty much just for argument's sake, went to the next cylinder and did a compression test on it, and it was only 40 psi, which is not enough. So they whipped the rocker cover off, and this thing being that it is a serious engine, so it's a solid roller cam, CNC heads, it's got flash bits top to bottom. It's really, really nice parts. It's just that it's an engine that we haven't looked over, and Mick hasn't looked over specifically, being that he's the guy that we trust all our V8 stuff to. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise, I guess. It's a best case of a worst case scenario. So got that cover off, and every intake rocker arm adjuster nut had come loose and fallen off basically. So whether it's a assembly issue from whoever assembled the engine before we bought it, or it's a lack of maintenance, they are somewhat known for those nuts to come loose, especially on solid roller cams or solid cams, because there's so much vibration going on in that rocker arm assembly. They are pretty common to come loose, especially on being that they're an offset intake rocker, and they are way more common for coming loose because the forces are offset on the center point. Basically, they are all off. The good news is, it doesn't look like there's any actual damage. It's basically just all of the valve lashes cactus, really bad. So it had like way too much lash on some and not enough lash on the others, which we're hoping is what's causing our compression issue, which would make sense, but at the same time, it's better to pull it out now and prevent damage than it is to pull it out and fix damage. So we did find, I think we found all of the nuts and washers that had come off. They were still sitting in the head, so we got all of them out, but it's not worth risking it, and on the assumption that everything else in the engine is fine, when we can just pull it out. We can have our own people go over it, and we know that, you know, Mick's the man. He put Damo's OS together, and that thing shredded all weekend at Matsuri. So now that we're going to have our eyes and hands over this entire drivetrain, it means that we can just be a little bit more confident in sending it down to the events, and we won't have to really worry about it too much. So there's no actual damage done to the engine yet, so that's really good news. And at the moment, it's just a pull apart and reassemble, and just to make sure that everything is good. Yeah, so it's done. Mick's got it now. We pulled it out yesterday afternoon, came off the dyno at 3:30, had it ready to go at 6:30. Stewie dropped it over to Mick this morning, so he's going to have a look at it, and then we'll get it back in, and we should be well and truly ready to go by Fridays on the 7th of April. Now we get to have peace of mind. We get to touch everything. We get to make our own changes to it. We've A, never touched it before, B, don't know how it goes together, and C, I don't know, that was it, there's only 2. Yeah, basically. So it's all good news except for the fact that it had to come out. But that's the only bad news, is that it had to come out. The good news is it's not damaged. It's going to be better. We're still going to go to Fridays. Don't have any more. Goodbye.
What's happening in your corner?
Oh, George, by the looks of things, the boys have had a go over during the week while I've been away. Obviously, they had nothing with my wheelbarrow. Thought they would have done something with my wheelbarrow.
Yeah, they just threw it to the side.
They did, didn't they? Like, that's a main contract.
Yeah, that's a big job.
It is quite a big job, you know. I really thought the boys would have come through and sort my wheelbarrow out. But instead, they've just made a mockery of my table. Looks like they've just gone. Exactly like that.
What is this, bush week?
Must be push week. Some Falcon stuff. I mean, it's a Commodore, it's not a Falcon.
Same thing, isn't
It
it?
truly is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, same bogan's driving.
Look. Same bunch of larrikins behind the wheel, though. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Now we've just defended 90% of Australia.
We did, George. We did together, though. That's the world. That you've got this war between Falcon drivers and Commodore owners. It's like a battle between the pair. And really, they're the same operator, just in a different badge. That's what I don't get. How do these disconnect? Oh, just like that. Now I've got to cut them off too. Doink! I see. We need new tips. That.
Yeah.
It's not mine.
You're on the H2O.
No. Like I said, someone else has been on my bench, right?
No, I was worried for a second.
This here, on the other hand.
That's the Daniel I remember.
I'll be right back. I need another one. Be right back. I need another one. Look, I'll give you a status report. So what I've gone and done with myself.
You've knocked it out of the park.
Honestly, George, I've hit a home run. I'd nearly label it as a that's it, home run. That's all I got. Out of the park. Look, I've never been to a bank or nothing, but that, if I'd ran into some dimes, that's diamond. I could sell that almost. And you know what? I'd nearly put that in a safety deposit box at a bank, behind a vault.
This is my truck.
And this is my truck driver.
Yeah. We got Dion's wet lag. Dion's Commodore is heading out the door.
It's already out the door.
Yeah, it's already out the door, you're right. It's got strange coilovers in the back now. Pretty odd, if you ask me.
Strange ones.
Yeah, they're odd, eh?
What, he's got odd coilovers?
So it's basically got like a rear end,
It's like
upgraded rear end. So it's got new lower control arms, which are like braced, so they're tubular, which gives you more clearance to run the 15s, the welds that he's got on it, and they are stronger, so they're smaller and stronger basically. So it gives you clearance as well as adds some rigidity to the back end, and they're adjustable. So it's got the big sway bar in there. You'll see in the footage. All that red stuff is all new. Plus it's got new coilovers in it.
Like the whole car.
And it's all for an adjustable rear end. So that sway bar is completely adjustable. We can make it softer, harder if we want, whatever you want to do. Did that, and then because it had the massive sway bar in the back, Daniel had to modify the exhaust as well to refit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the V-bands are in the way.
Now all said and done. George, I stick on every tip that leaves this shed.
Wow. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment,
and
subscribe.
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one. Yeah. Bye.
Coming up next week, we got... See you.
Can't swim.
You can't swim.